All right, so this is my August garden update. These Sun Gold cherry tomatoes have been awesome. So prolific. They ripened earlier than anything else. The fruit doesn't seem to split very easy. Hardly have any that splits. And the flavor's great. They've just been awesome. Finally started getting some black cherry tomatoes. You can see them back in there. Just a few. They took a lot longer to mature. Some of my other tomatoes have started to ripen. I got a little batch of them on the table inside ripening. But yeah, these tomato plants have just taken over. They're huge. Some of them, I can't even reach the top of them. These Amish paste tomatoes. I've been getting a lot of those. I've probably picked 40 of those. I've been doing really good. Happy with the cattle panel trellising. Seems to have worked real well. A lot of these vines need tied back up. They've just grown so much recently. I'm happy with those so far. Zinnias are in full bloom. These yard-long beans have started to produce some. We've only tried a couple. They didn't like the flavor so much, but they're fun to grow. And then Kentucky pole beans here. They've finally started producing some beans. Some of those are ready to harvest. Haven't tried those yet, but you got their sweet corn. Not near as tall as the popcorn down there, but it was planted a couple of weeks after, so they wouldn't cross-pollinate. We got a little visitor in the garden. We've had a ton of dragonflies this year. Nice to see. So yeah, hopefully we'll get a nice little batch of sweet corn. Cucumbers have been very productive. Just picked a bunch last night, so there may not be a lot on the vine right now, but there's one. I think this Burpless Beauty has been my favorite. They get nice and long without getting too thick or seedy. These straight eights, they kind of tend to get wider, but they've all been good. Some more garden workers. Making more garden workers, it looks like. And then we got, you see down here, we got butternut squash finally starting to produce some fruit. And our spaghetti squash over here, I'll show you on the other side. It's been very productive. Nothing ripe, of course, yet, but they're just all over. Very productive. Let me see. Right here we got birdhouse gourds starting to produce. It looks like we're going to end up with a bunch of those. They just took a long time to start producing fruit, but they're starting to form now. And then we got these Tigger melons. I can't wait to try these. I think I got 4 of them on the vine so far. Oh, there's a little one starting, so more. Yeah, hopefully. I heard those can be really good. I've never tried them before. Looking forward to that. And then these Baby Boo mini pumpkins. They're just prolific too. There's a ton of those. Loofah vines. This is actually the first time I've seen a loofah flower open up. So haven't had any fruit start yet, but now that the flowers are opening up, I suspect we should have some pretty soon. We got one of these little white squashes. Can't remember what they're called. Bunch of flowers though, so hopefully we'll end up with a nice little batch of those. It's a summer squash. And then I got my cantaloupe over here. There's got, I think, 4 of those started. Hopefully we'll get a nice harvest before the end of the year. This is butternut or blue Hubbard squash. Seems to have worked pretty well. I grew it for a trap crop this year. Haven't had any trouble with anything tearing up my green beans or cucumbers. Had a little bit of squash bugs that I battled for a little while, but really, other than they eventually, I think, is what took out my zucchini plants. I think they've left everything else alone for the most part. Yeah, lots of nice zinnias. They're getting to a nice size now where we've started to have, lots of cut flowers. Over here, Devin's little pumpkin patch and sunflowers are looking nice. And then the green bean patch, mostly a weed patch down on that end. I've already canned about 80 quarts of green beans. Should get some more off of these plants before they're totally spent. But they're kind of dwindling down. And we got peppers. I think these are Hungarian wax peppers. They were supposed to be this whole row was supposed to be these purple bell peppers. Only ended up with, I think, one plant. That was actually what it was supposed to be from the packet, but a bunch of green bell peppers over here. I'm waiting for them to turn red. I like them better, but yeah. And then some more hot peppers down here. We got some habaneros down here, and some banana peppers, and some jalapenos, some more jalapenos. And then we got my popcorn growing. About 8 feet tall, most of it. Hopefully we'll get a good harvest out of it. First time growing popcorn. These dragon tongue beans, just one row. And I'm just gonna let these they've gotten a little too big. I'm gonna let them mature and save seeds off of them for next year. We canned a handful of quarts, but we might still harvest some to eat this year. Zucchini here I'm about to rip this out. They're pretty much all done. I should have gotten a second round started already, but I didn't really. But we've had lots of zucchini. We've had, more than we could even give away, much less eat. So, another blue Hubbard squash here. It's got a couple of fruit on. That one over there is pretty big. Yeah. And then there's one more row of potatoes right here mixed into these weeds. I haven't harvested yet, but this patch here, we had 2 rows of potatoes we got done harvesting, and I planted some more green beans. I think we have just enough time to get another harvest off of those. Let's see, I didn't cover up all the beans that good, or the cats dug them out. I don't know which, but planted 5 rows of green beans here. So my goal was to can a little over 100 quarts, so we should be, by the end of the year, we should definitely hit that. And my pumpkins down here. Don't see any pumpkins on them yet. Lots of flowers though. The plant's getting to be a pretty good size, so hopefully it'll end up getting a few pumpkins off of it. That's about it.